Hello, and welcome back to Alchemy Mindset. I am your host, Anna Hasty, and it is such a pleasure to have you back listening to this episode. I used to think money mindset was mostly about manifestation, affirmations, and just overall thinking positively about how much you'd like to receive. But last year, I realized that the way we hold money, spend money, avoid money, stress about money, or even receive money is actually more deeply connected to our nervous system and the stories we learned growing up. And there is so much more that I just cannot wait to share with you, because when I started changing those patterns, something really incredibly amazing and profound shifted in my life and in my family's life. It was mind-blowing what happened after I had done a lot of work last year on my money mindset. So anyway, firstly, thank you so much to all those beautiful listeners who gave me such amazing feedback from my last episode, my returning episode number 98. Honestly, every message and share and the conversation that came from it really has supported me in continuing doing this podcast, because honestly, I thought, well, I'm going to give it a go, give you a life update, see where this lands. And yeah, I did. I have been questioning whether or not to continue. And because of your beautiful feedback and so much love I received, I went, right, I'm going to continue doing this. So here we are. And it just gave me so much momentum to get the next episode out to you. As I shared in the last episode, every year I tend to focus on a different area of my life through the lens of the wheel of life. So that might be health, relationships, business, community, family. And last year for me, it was really about money mindset. Now, before you switch off thinking, this is just going to be another how to manifest $1 million episode, it's actually not that at all. This is really just me sharing what I learned, what I embodied, and what I became aware of within myself, and how changing my relationship with money had a profound ripple effect on my life and my family's life as well. Because what surprised me through this whole entire process was that as I started changing my relationship with money internally and practically, life began responding in ways I just couldn't have predicted. And I'm not lying when I say this. And I'm only ever going to share with you real, truthful, these things have happened, this is what I've learned, this is what I've embodied, experiences with you, because that is actually part of my human design. I'm here to trial, test, research, experiment, rip things apart, put it back together again with different kinds of sticky tape, and share it with you as an option, an understanding, a way of being, so that you yourself can take it away and go, that's cool, I'm going to give it a go, or wow, that's so interesting, not sure. Not sure if that's for me. And that's perfectly fine. And while I don't believe there's one magic formula for money, I do believe the work I did around my nervous system, my beliefs, and my relationship with money and receiving it deeply shifted what I was available for. Now, over the years, I have probably religiously followed Manifestation Babe Catherine Zinkina on so much around manifestation, money mindset clearing in general, limiting beliefs, the subconscious mind, all the things that she is literally, as I would say, an expert on. Like I recently listened to one of her latest episodes and I thought, wow, you really are an expert on this. Like I really do find it hard to stray away from someone that I have invested a lot in, but also believe in. I just believe everything she has experienced is tried and tested through her. And that's why I respect her lessons, her learnings, her teachings, all the things. But I'd also stepped into the world of Marley Rose Harris, who is a money mindset and manifestation coach. And she has a really great podcast also called Money Mindset and Manifestation, and has created an app called the Higher Self app, which I love using, and I highly recommend giving it a go because it's amazing for shifting your mindset, clearing limiting beliefs. Now, I'd been following Marley for a while, and at the start of last year, she opened up a 12-week money mindset clearing program. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but I just thought, you know what, why not? Like I was coming into the final weeks of my pregnancy with Isla, and it would also lead into the first, newborn weeks with her as well. And it was just so easy. The time she was offering it was perfect because it would be around night feeding. I was able to be part of the live experience and conversations while I was just taking care of Isla in the chair. It was actually really good. It was like a perfect time in my life to do this course. I wasn't working. I wasn't involved in anything else. It was just newborn stages with Isla. It was in the evenings. Perfection. And I have to say this, let's just be honest here before I dive into anything else. I honestly think money is one of the hardest topics for people to talk about. I know it's really hard for me to talk about, and actually crafting this episode, I felt really nervous about talking about this big manifestation that came about towards the end of last year. But again, it feels that like if I don't tell you what happened, if I don't talk about it, then how can this all be relevant in a way, you know? And we all have different opinions about money, don't we? Everyone uses it differently. Some people avoid it completely. Some people obsess over it. And I know for a fact I've often experienced guilt, fear, and shame around it as well. But the one thing we all have in common, and this is needless to say of any of the ways we use it or interact with it, is that we all use money. Money is the currency of life at present. And I have a side note on this. I think, in all honesty, if rocks or glass beads were the form of currency that we were using to trade and exchange and buy and sell things, we would probably still have the same stories that we currently hold around money, only for rocks and glass beads. Am I right? So it doesn't matter, I don't think, what we trade in, whether it is glass beads or numbers in a bank account or on an online thing these days. Like, who rarely has money in their hands? Whether it's like hard, cold cash or numbers in your bank account, it's still money. It's still the form of currency we're trading in. But one of the biggest things I learned from working with Marley was how money is connected so much to our nervous system. And I never really thought about it until she talked about it. In feminine energetics, feminine energy is often described as flow, intuition, creativity, receiving, softness, magnetism, and embodiment. Masculine energy is more about structure, leadership, direction, grounded action, and providing safety. And what I started noticing within myself was how often I was operating from this energy of, I need to do more to get more, like that complete masculine frame of mind of doing, working harder, push, and to be constantly in that masculine energy rather than operating from a place of flow, creativity, and embodiment, that complete feminine energetics. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't sit and stare at my feet meditating, hoping things will just happen in my business and life. That money will just like literally fall out of the sky or appear out of nowhere from not doing any work. It's actually a different energy set point that I know I need to be in. And most of us, if we're females and we're working or just feminine energy in life in general, if we operate from more of that feminine energetics, that set point is far more powerful into attracting and receiving more money than it is when we're trying to be in that masculine doing, drive, hustle, strive, structure, blah, 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 blah. The one that we've all been conditioned to. The one that says you're too lazy if you sit around and do sweet FA. So the theory is the more dysregulated your nervous system is and pressured you feel internally around money, the harder it is actually to fully receive. So for the first time in my life, I actually stopped relating to money from survival mode. I stopped looking at money from a place of a dysregulated nervous system. I did work on myself to stop gripping so tightly, feeling like I constantly had to push harder to create more so that I would receive more money. Because if my nervous system constantly feels anxious, unsafe, fearful, or dysregulated around money, it can actually become difficult for me to not only hold on to it, but to receive more of it. And here's the thing. Our nervous systems almost become that thermostat for what feels safe for us financially. So if holding larger amounts of money feels unsafe in your body, you'll often unconsciously create patterns that bring you back to what feels familiar. And that really, 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 really hit me. Like I was like, wow, that actually makes so much sense. And here's a really good example. So even though I did the work at the start of last year, at the start of 2026, this year, I went on a staycation with my family to the Cable Beach Club in Broome. Now, for those who don't know, it's one of the more luxurious resorts in town. And it's one of those places where you literally do not need to leave the complex because everything is there. Kids' activity, food, restaurants, pools, your accommodation, everything. And we lived in that beautiful place of living in a resort we ate by the pool, we had room service, we went out for a fancy dinner, what me and Francois and I did. We ate the buffet breakfast just about every day. Mum and Dad came to visit and we bought them food for lunch. Everything was going on the room. Charge to the room, charge to the room. And I want to say this. While I want to have many luxurious experiences in my life, from flying business to staying in really fancy luxury hotels, doing some of those really amazing luxury cruises to the Arctic, Circle, all those things. This moment in time, being in a luxurious resort, charging everything onto the room and living like kings and queens felt super hard and scary. It was literally me hitting my upper limit. And you know why? Because my nervous system and my subconscious mind hadn't deemed that this was okay and safe for me to do. Somewhere in there, my nervous system said, well, hold on a moment. Your programming is to have staycations in slightly mid-range accommodation, maybe staying in a caravan park in your caravan, maybe free camping somewhere on the beach, staying in this luxurious hotel and charging everything onto the room and just doing whatever you want is actually not in your programming. It's actually quite scary for you. And we actually feel like this is unsafe. And the whole time, while part of me was just like, Anna, just let it go. This is going to be fine. You're going to love this. The other part of me kept saying to Francois, are we okay? Is this all right? Should we be doing this? And some way, shape or form, I was actually wanting to somehow sabotage the whole entire process because it felt like it was too much for me. When at the other same time, there's part of me that wants to manifest these amazing luxury experiences. Here I am trying to sabotage it, right? Crazy. So when I had that realization, I was like, wow, I still have a lot to do on my nervous system and my subconscious mind before I can fully feel okay and safe being in situations like that. Being in situations where we're staying in really fancy hotels and everything's getting charged to the room and paying for it is not a problem. And here's the two sides of the coin. I can't attract more of that if I haven't experienced it, but I also cannot attract more of it when I'm not feeling safe in the moment. So I need to feel safe even beforehand so that when I come to experience it, it's safe for me when I'm in there as well. So it's almost like you kind of have to experience it to understand where it sits with you and to understand if it's at your upper limit, so that top of the ceiling, or if it's dragging you down and you need to be at that basement level in your limit. Does that make sense? So I know for a fact, if we'd stayed in a caravan park, I would have felt happy, relieved, easy. It was like the usual familiar, safe, right? Now, another huge part of this journey for me was becoming more intentional with our actual money practices, because money mindset and energetics alone isn't enough, okay? Like I said, you still have to put in the work to be able to receive more and have more. So I actually sat down and said to Francois, we need to do a money date. I want to have a look at our actual behaviors around money. Because in all honesty, that is so hard. It's so hard to sit down and look at your bank account, look at your accounts, look at your spending, and just be brutally honest with yourself. And also at a place where there's no shame. There's no shame around what you've been doing with your money or how you use your money or how you spend it, how you give it away, whatever happens. It's just looking at it through the lens of, this is interesting. How insightful. This is going to help me be better at using and taking care of my money so that when I do receive more, I feel safe and I have structures and I have processes and I have a whole safety net for it to come in safely and happily, and I can use it however I need to, right? So that looked like us sitting down and having a money date. So we sat down and we looked at the bank statements for all our inflows and outflows, so our expenses and our income. And I let Francois handle all of that. Like I could have sat there and micromanaged, but newborn, baby stage, you do all of this and then come back to me and then let's sit down together. So he spent a lot of time and he likes to get out multiple notepads, lots of pens, and he went through everything, writes it all down, calculates it, and then we had a look at it. We reviewed our money practices, what was working and what wasn't. So with our big girl boy and pants on, really intentional with our money. we saw what we were receiving, what was the outflow or the expenses, and then we looked at the best method for us in terms of the way money needed to move through our bank accounts. Originally, we had followed the barefoot investor method, but at this moment in time, we felt that we'd sort of outgrown it in some parts and we needed to slightly tweak his method and theory to suit ourselves. And look, honestly, if you don't know who the barefoot investor is, go Google him. I've forgotten his name. Apologies. But it's a great way for just getting an idea of how to manage and take care of your money. And I can tell you that he's only one of them. He's one of many out there who have many great ideas about how to receive your money and then divvy it up into different like buckets or portions or accounts or whatever, so that you have a better structure for it moving in and out and supporting you, right? Because that's what money is there to do, to support you. So I'm going to share with you our process. So this is our method for this current season of life. We have one account where all the income comes in, and then from there it flows into different accounts and areas. We have a joint account that is basically our fortnightly expenses count. And that comes in terms of like groceries, activities for the kids, eating out, buying things from Bunnings or the health food shop, going to the cinemas, anything that's sort of a fortnightly expense that we need as a family, that goes there. Then we have another account where we have all our monthly, quarterly or annual expenses that come out, and that would look like insurance for the house, car registrations, car rego, private health insurance. You get the picture. So all of that comes out of another account. Then Francois and I have our own personal spending accounts. That's where we give ourselves, like I like to say, pocket money, our own, or some people call it the blow money in a sense, like you're just blowing it on whatever you want. So it's our money where we get to spend it however we want. So that's for me for like Pilates. I use that for buying things that have been influenced by the influencers, anything like that. Then we have a holiday savings account, and then we have a long-term higher interest saving account, which is one where I will often shop around every few months or whenever to see if there's another savings account that can give us a higher interest. And that has our emergency money. For example, something, touch wood, that's me touching the wood, something happens and we need a really higher chunk of money instantly, it's right there for us to use in that regard. For example, the car broke down, we had to get it towed or something like that. We've also been working recently with a financial advisor who has also helped guide us around retirement planning for Francois, superannuation, investments, and things that we can do to set ourselves up more securely in the future for when Francois isn't working anymore, but I am, and we're still raising our girls and wanting to have a life of doing all the things that we enjoy doing. And honestly, just becoming more conscious and intentional with money has created so much more groundedness and safety around it. After doing that exercise, which took us a long time, I think if we didn't have kids, we could have probably smashed it out in a day. But it did take us a few weeks to get all the balls rolling, to get all the accounts sorted and things like that, because we honestly got interrupted so many times. But I honestly felt so much better. I felt like, wow, okay, we've got a better plan and a better process and a better understanding of what's going in, what's going out. I can actually see gaps where I need to fill from my business and things like that. Now, side note, I also have done a different but similar money mindset or money date with my own business so that I can be more intentional with where I'm spending money, where I'm doing my toxic trait of buying all the short courses. I love doing that. And just being more intentional with where money's flowing in and where it needs to be outflowed in supporting my business. Doing our money date helped me feel more relaxed and in control. I felt like there's been this less sense of spiraling and more like we're the kind of people that have our shit together. And it's a process that we're sticking to. We're honestly sticking to it. And I will say that this year, because things have changed a little bit, I've said to Francois, we need to sit down and look at this again. Because here's the fact, people, expenses or your outflow, things that we do, for example, private health, It's gone up. It always goes up. It's so annoying. But private health may have gone up. Maybe you don't need that other expense anymore. Maybe this one has come in. So your numbers are always going to shift and change. And it's always a really good move to make to go, well, you know what? We've been spending money on that thing. Is that thing really important for us? Do we need that anymore? Can we get rid of it? Or can we find a better option? Blah, blah, blah. It really just helps you be more in control and have a better understanding of where you are leaking money or receiving money. And this is one thing I did realize, and I really, really want to share with you in this whole entire process. Doing this exercise, I think, is a great way for setting you up for receiving more money, because more money doesn't suddenly make you better at handling money. If you can't manage $5 well, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to magically manage $500,000 equally well either. When you can manage the money that you have incredibly well and you have a great feeling around it, you know, relaxed nervous system, you can see your practices, you see your inflows and outflows, money has a safer container to land. And when you can manage the money you have, you can probably manage larger sums of money as it starts to come your way. It's a bit like that manifestation adage of, just because you get the thing doesn't make you a better person once you received it. You have to be the better person now to receive it. Now, the other really amazing thing that I experienced during this whole entire year of money mindset was the journey around the subconscious clearing work. And this is where Marley's money program really, really worked. Every week with Marley, we cleared a limiting belief around money and then embedded new beliefs. And these beliefs were, I would say, probably some of the top general beliefs that we all share or have shared in some place, shape, or time. We did a lot of the timeline clearing process around this, and also Marley had infused other practices and other subconscious reprogramming techniques within the whole process. And it was just so much fun, and it was really great to see and feel how different I felt each time we cleared something around money. This whole part of her program was about being the scientist of my own patterns. How do I feel when I open up my bank account? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel excited? Do I feel neutral? Do I feel sad? Do I feel really excited about it? Do I feel guilt when I spend money? Because let's just say, how many times have we bought something and then you've had the, do I really need that? Should I have spent that? Was that okay? And then beaten ourselves up over it, and then realized at the end of the day, you spent the money, it's gone. You could go get a refund if you want, but if you really wanted the thing, just be at peace with it. Do I feel that sense of scarcity when money leaves? Like, oh, I've just paid another bill and the money went out. Or am I so grateful that I had money to pay for those things? Because these hidden beliefs shape so much how we experience abundance. And what I really loved was Marley's perspective on how our relationship with money can often be a reflection of how our father figure or the male caregivers showed up for us. Did you feel safe, provided for, protected, or supported? Or was there stress, fear, scarcity, or unpredictability around money or how they took care of you? So when I reflected on my own upbringing, I realized my dad was always dependable. He always provided for the family and he never let me down. And in truth, money has always shown up for me. It's always been there, even though I thought it wouldn't, and it's never not been there. It's always been there when I've needed it. But I also had the other realization that some of the language and some of the other things I had around money came through from my mum. Things like, money doesn't grow on trees, we're not made of money, and rich people are greedy, and some other money language that my mum has and still does use that actually has influenced me. And this is not about blaming my parents, because they're simply always just doing the best that they can with the resources, tools, and knowledge that they have. But it's just having that hyper awareness of the subconscious programming that we have absorbed growing up, because so many of our beliefs around money form from the ages of 0 to 7, when we are literally a walking subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is that big spongy part of our brain that's just taking in everything within our environment, processing it according to our patterns, our behaviors, and our beliefs, and then spitting out our actions based on what is safe and what is unsafe for us to do, because it's there to keep us safe. That's its prime directive, to keep us safe from danger. Because the truth about beliefs is that they quietly shape the way we spend, save, avoid, or emotionally respond to money without us even realizing it. So when we went through this program, we did a lot of journaling work about the way we use money, the way we feel when we spend it, the way we feel when we receive it. And I think that's a really great tool to do when you're doing your money date, because it does give you that clear hyper awareness of what's going on within you and how you respond to money. Now, I really want to share one tool that I've absolutely loved doing. And when I do this consistently, honestly, manifestation and abundances just flow. And I did this a lot during this course, and I did it a lot towards the end of last year. And when I'm in the space, in the zone of like, yep, going to do this again. It's really powerful what comes through. It's called the Kundalini Ha meditation. And it's a dynamic meditation practice that combines both breath, mantra, and mudra to activate the life force energy, the Kundalini, within our body. Ha is associated with creative power, vitality, courage, and grounded action. And honestly, like I said, when I do this consistently, I notice significant shifts in the flow and abundance in my life. Now, I have a little Instagram reel on this, and I share the exact process and what it's about. And I will link that in the show notes below. But what it is basically you have your hands palms facing up, and you bring them together so that the pinky fingers and the edge of your hand meet, and then you separate and you turn your hands over, and then the sides of the index fingers and the thumbs overlap each other on the other side. And at the same time that you're doing that hand mudra, you're saying the words ha, 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 ha. And then there's other parts of the meditation that you can go check out that reel, and it will give you a little bit more explanation. What I have found really interestingly is that when I am in this flow of this meditation, abundance actually flows really significantly through Francois. The male energy, the male energetics, right? He's like received bonuses, opportunities, or unexpected financial perks through work and other things when I'm in the state of flow with that meditation. And I asked Marley about this, and she explained that money often flows through the masculine structure and provision, while feminine energy can act more as the channel of magnetism for receiving. Like, wow. Like if that wasn't a clear example, I don't know what is. And that made me go, wow. And when she told me that, I was like, that makes so much sense. Because I'd often thought, well, hold on a moment. Why is it not coming through me and my business? I mean, it does. Money does, and opportunities do. But this heightened, elevated money experience always comes through Francois. Again, he is the masculine and I'm the feminine. I'm the one that's channeling it. I'm the one that's embodying it. I'm the one that's activating it. I'm the one that's intuitively calling it forwards. He's the container to receive it. Why? Because he is the masculine. They're here to do the how, the do, the structure, the provision. And that's our relationship. And this honestly, again, is not because women can't create money independently. Like, absolutely not. All right. We all can. Women can definitely. But it's more about looking at where you are within your energy as to how you're receiving it. Now, towards the end of last year, something happened financially that honestly still feels surreal to talk about. And I feel like it came because I'd done so much work, including Francois, at the start of the year. I'd been shifting limiting beliefs. I'd been working on my money mindset. I'd been clearing fears and beliefs. I'd been doing my Ha meditation, which I will say, I think this still would have come through even had I not, but I feel like it was part of the icing on the cake. And because we'd created a safe container to receive more money. We've shown the universe and ourselves that we have structure, we have flow, we're creating safety, and we're creating a bigger container to always hold more. So what happened was our family had some shares that collectively had been sitting there for quite a while, and we were advised that there may be an opportunity to sell them. And we were like, okay, could be a good idea. What unfolded was that the value had increased significantly, and it was far beyond any of us had actually expected, largely because there'd been a sale not too long ago, probably within the 12 months, and this one was just an significant jump from the last one. So after a lot of conversations and considerations, we all decided to move forward with the sale. And what came through from that has created one of the biggest financial shifts our family has experienced to date. And this financial shift hasn't just been for Francois and myself and our girls, but has also been able to support and positively impact people within our extended family as well. This is allowing other people to live their dreams. Honestly, I can't tell you how amazing it has been to see the ripple out effect of this. And I share this really honestly because this episode isn't about bragging or pretending I somehow manifested money from thin air or that I'm a money mindset expert, because I am not. It's more that when I reflect on this year as a whole, I can see how much my relationship with money changed before this opportunity arrived. I became more regulated around money, more intentional and aware of my patterns, and more open to receiving and trusting that money will always be there for me. And I truly believe that the inner work and the practical work and the energetic work all helped me become available to hold something bigger and feel safe around it than had I not done the work before. I honestly don't think the version of me from a few years ago could have comfortably held what has come through since. Because that financial side of what unfolded has absolutely mind-blowingly created more freedom and possibilities for my family and my extended family moving forwards, but it feels more meaningful because of the internal shifts that I've done along the way. And that is real work. Not just attracting the abundance, but becoming the version of yourself that feels safe enough to receive it, hold it, and use it in such an intentional, grounded, and safe way. So maybe take this episode as an invitation to become curious about your own relationship with money. What are your beliefs around money? What are your habits? How does your nervous system respond around money? And what stories have you inherited growing up? Are these stories ones that you still honestly believe are true, or are they someone else's? Notice how money shows up for you, and notice how you speak about it, how you feel about it, and how do you take care of it? Notice whether it feels safe to receive, hold it and trust it. And if you feel called to, maybe try a practice like the Ha meditation, or find another nervous system based tool that helps you to feel more grounded and open. And I honestly would say this, if you haven't done a money date, do one. Just be really brave about it. Be really curious about it. Be really intentional about it. You're not a bad person, and you're certainly not bad with money. You might just have current practices or unawareness about the way you use money that is not helping you create a safer, stronger, more stable container to receive more. And you're not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I just didn't know any better until I had a good old look. And now I feel great about it. I feel so good about it. Honestly, abundance isn't about attracting more. It's about creating the internal safety to receive what life is already trying to offer you. So I hope this lands. I hope you really enjoyed this episode, and thank you for allowing me to share it with you. And again, I look forward to sharing more amazing experiences and insights with you in the upcoming episodes. Episode 100 is just around the corner, and I can't wait to share that one with you. It's going to be a beautiful meditation, a mini sound bath, something that you can listen to regularly to help you in whatever it needs to be within your life. And until then, sending you so much love. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to today's episode. Please rate and review this podcast so that it can continue to thrive and reach more listeners. I love to know who my listeners are, so please screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at Anna F. Hasty. And I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode.